Jordan. I am in, what part of Pennsylvania is this?
This is
Mars, Pennsylvania. Or St. Mars, do they call it? Oh, just Mars?
Just Mars.
Okay. We're in Mars, Pennsylvania, about 20 minutes, I'd say, from downtown Pittsburgh. We are in Trump country, shockingly enough. So, tell me, where are you from? Tell me, you finally got a pretty decent job a few months ago, and then what happened? You guys are married with a infant, like 1.5-year-old. So tell me, what was going on pre-pandemic, and what's happened since?
Yeah. Well, pre-pandemic, we had our son, and we moved to this area to settle in and like raise him. We have a friend that lives up here, so that's why we did it. We were previously living in Mount Washington, which is in like downtown, or like downtown area. And I'd always worked at like retail and like restaurants and stuff. And I finally was able to find a really good job. I worked for a company called Vector Security, and I was there for about 6 months, and it was going really well. And then the pandemic hit, and they started letting us work from home. So I was doing that for about 3 weeks, and then they informed me that they were going to be laying people off, and that I was one of the people being laid off. It was supposed to just be for 10 weeks. So I was like, oh, this isn't too bad. Gonna take a little vacation, hang out with my son, And
this was in March?
Yeah, probably the beginning of March, end of April. And then, just like a couple weeks ago, I talked to my boss, and I was like, hey, when do you think we're going to start bringing people back? Because, unemployment's running out and stuff. And she said they were probably looking to lay more people off, which means that I most likely won't have a job to go back to. Mm-hmm. And, with the that extra pandemic money running out, it's we're faced with, to go through savings until we can find something. We're both looking for work right now.
With a 1.5-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's really tough.
One of us will be at home because we don't really have anyone to like do childcare. We're definitely not going to put him in like daycare. So, yeah. So one of us will have to stay home. The other one will have to work, and neither one of us really want to work in, a grocery store or like a restaurant because we don't want to bring it back home to him. So yeah, we're just both trying to find something.
Mm-hmm. And before the pandemic, what were you doing?
I worked at Giant Eagle. I was there for like a year.
Is that a groceries?
Yeah, it's a grocery store, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And I was there for a year, and then I actually quit like maybe a month or two before the pandemic, and then I wanted to go back like somewhere else around here, and then I can't find anything that's like safe to go to. A lot of the stores here aren't taking it seriously. So I don't want to bring anything home, whether it's coronavirus or not. And
it's interesting you say that, because I've talked to a lot of people, like not just in Pennsylvania, but I don't want to generalize, but it seems like a lot of the areas that business owners aren't taking it seriously at all. Because there's business owners who are taking it seriously, but are like, F it, capitalism, I'm greedy. But then there's others who call it a hoax, aren't taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of them that aren't taking it seriously tend to be in
Trump country.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's horrible. And like anywhere I found, they don't even pay enough to afford to live. So if we would have to work like split shifts, like he would work and I would work, if that for us to live on some of these jobs that they're also not taking it seriously, and it's not okay. Like it's tough, and I don't understand why it's happening. And like the good jobs don't want to hire anyone because they're greedy.
Before COVID, whenever we moved to this town, we actually were doing really well. We didn't need, we actually got off of food stamps.
We finally got a car.
Yeah, we finally got a car.
We went like 3 years without a car. We
Wow.
had to pay people for rides, Uber, and then we finally...
Was it just like struggling to find a job or other things that
Well,
were...
it was us both working and still not being able to afford anything.
Wow.
Yeah, like we were able to like afford rent. So it would be like we would both be working, because if you work in like the restaurant industry or like the retail industry or grocery store, they're not paying you like $15 an hour or anything like that. So, between the two of us, we were probably making about like $20 an hour. And then where we lived before here was a little bit more expensive than here actually. And, we made enough to pay for our our house and groceries and things like that, but we weren't able to get a car, so I was constantly relying on rides. Both of us are constantly relying on rides from either family members, friends, or like Uber and stuff to get back and forth to work. And then my glove broke. Whenever we moved here, we were able to get a car. We were able to save up some money and start to actually like live the middle class life, I guess. Didn't own a house or anything like that, but you know what I mean. Live a little bit better than we were, and it was really nice. And now COVID changed that, unfortunately.
And let me ask you, if you're both out of work right now, what are you doing for health care for you and the baby?
Welfare.
Like,
We had to apply for welfare. That's how we got our food stamps too, which isn't really like much. There's co-pays on it, which I thought there wasn't, and they're kind of pricey depending on what medicine you get. And luckily we don't have any ongoing health issues, so that's good. But if we need something, it's going to be tough, which is very frustrating. And luckily our son is really healthy right now, and I hope he stays that way. But we're just on welfare, and it sucks.
as a young mother, I'm assuming, obviously it's scary with a pandemic and all that, but this uncertainty with your husband getting laid off, with having a young baby and fearful that you could bring it back, with the unemployment going away and having the Republicans being terrible, the Democrats pretending to be for the people, but basically, I mean, Republicans wouldn't have been able to pass the first bailout without the Democrats. I assume for you, this is all very unsettling.
Yeah, it is, and I keep thinking that, like, we're going to end up having to move in with a family member, or we're going to need someone else to move in with us, and I don't want to have to lose everything that we worked really hard for. We've been struggling for 5 years, and then we finally got everything together, and it just instantly went away, losing one income. And it's horrible. And we even blew through our savings. We had a lot, and it's all gone.
In these last few months.
Yeah. It's sad. Because, like, I can't imagine how many other people are like us and even have it worse. And then, like, thinking that if this doesn't go away, then my son's going to have to grow up in it. It's all going to become normal, and no one's going to care about it, and it's scary.
Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.